So I've been once upon a time, right, before I understood a lot of this stuff, before I developed myself fit mentally, emotionally, socially, and all the other Ellies, right? I was the guy that he was attractive, but I never knew what to say to girls. It's funny how there's all this game. There's a lot of game set up for very unattractive guys or just normal looking guys, and it's done that way because you would think that a normal looking guy wouldn't be good with girls, or an unattractive guy, be he fat or skinny or whatever, isn't good with girls. So that's your target audience. That's the people you want to draw to you. It's like, okay, cool. You guys don't do well with girls because you think it's your looks. Okay, let's work on you. Let's build this up. Or maybe let's build that charisma, give you a few lines, maybe even build the mental state so that you're now able to get the woman you actually want. And there's all this game given to all these, um, less attractive people. But what's interesting is that there's no game given to the attractive people because it's assumed that you as an attractive person should just know what to do. Or you as an attractive person just get it like that. But you don't. It's not the case for all of us, and it wasn't the case for me for a very long time, until I was around, let's say, 21. That's when I really started to. I was really in business, right? I was in business, but until around that age, my I would always be around people who, in a way, when you actually look at it objectively, you could say that this person is less attractive than I. But even though I'm around these people who are less attractive than myself, I get shitty results in comparison, or I don't get any results in comparison because I, it's because my self esteem, the level at which I thought saw myself at, and at which I thought I existed at in general. Sure, I understood I had muscles. Sure, I understood my facial structure and features got better as a result of me building my physical aesthetic. But the level at which my mind was at and I viewed myself at was still so low that even the people who were not attractive but had a higher level of self esteem would get better results than myself. It's crazy, but that's how it happened. That's like it's the reality for a lot of guys. A lot of guys go through this, and this isn't this. I don't wanna. This isn't the fault of anyone else but you. It's your own fault that this stuff happens. And it only happens because you did not take the time, again, to develop yourself in terms of your self esteem, your self worth, the way you talk to yourself, the way you think, the way you move within your own world, within your own reality, in your heart, in your mind, in your soul. You didn't take the time to build that up. And as a result, this is what happens. So it was kind of interesting to see that for a very long time, that I wouldn't get results, but people who are less attractive than myself would get results. And I always thought, I was like, what is it that these guys are doing? How are they getting all of these results? Like, why are girls liking them and not liking me? So I I started to learn game, right? Structured game, canned lines, and all that stuff. And in learning all that stuff, I built a level of confidence. This is why it's good to have it. It's good to have these lines. It's good to have the structured game because you build a level of confidence that you didn't have before. But the problem is the fact that you still have not integrated that confidence into yourself. It's still a line, it's still a structure that you're using, and it's external, it's not internal. So the real thing that you have to do, I would say, go through the process of learning game. because learning game is amazing. Game, learning structured game, learning canned game, learning all those lines and all that stuff. Dude, trust and believe. It helps. It works. Trust me. I've done it. It works. It helps. But it's not the end. It's not the end goal. The end goal is to be yourself. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, be yourself, no base imitator of another, but your best self. For there is something that you can do. There is something which you can do that is better than another. And that is primarily the point. It's like you have to be yourself. But the question is, what version are you of yourself are you being? Are you being the 2 out of 10 version of yourself? Or are you being the 8 out of 10 version of yourself? Or are you being the 1,000 out of 10 version of yourself, right? Are you being the one of one? And we'll get into what all of this stuff means, because there's all of these, you know, the lines or little words that I say, and you might not understand it because you don't really know me much. But with time, you'll begin to understand what I'm saying as I also explain what it is that I'm saying. So you essentially have to be yourself. But it's funny that when you go up to a girl and you ask them, okay, I want to approach this person. What must I do? What must I say? Oh, just be yourself. That's what they say, just be yourself. Because essentially that is the truth. But they don't understand the amount of effort it takes to just be yourself. Because there is a shit ton of social conditioning that we go through. Not only social, but there's a shit ton of just conditioning we put ourselves through as a result of the external forces and the way we receive them and the way we process them and the way we integrate them. There are all of these factors that sort of hurt us and sort of turn ourselves into something we don't actually want to be. So a lot of people, including myself of the past, I didn't want to be myself. I wanted to escape myself, to be anything but myself. So when I was told be yourself, I'm like, you fucking dumbass. What the hell are you talking about? And I would just be like, okay, you're stupid. You clearly don't know this myself. And nobody would be attracted to that. Why would anybody be attracted to me? And that came from a lot of being bullied, being hurt as a kid, a lot. And it just takes a lot to work through that. So essentially, some people would be like, go see a therapist or some shit. And in my mind, I'm just like, well, fuck therapists. You know, it's like, I don't even need to say that. That doesn't matter. It's besides the point. The point is, you have to work on this particular aspect of yourself. Again, building self-esteem, building your self-respect, building your internal world to a level that is just, this is me. Not take it or leave it in a bad way, but it's, this is me. Take it or leave it. And you'll understand that you will grow yourself into being a person who is, you will be loved by some, not by many. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You will be disliked by a lot of people because you're blunt. You are you. You don't try to be anyone else. You are, again, using the quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, you are not a base imitator of someone else. You are your best self. And then there's another quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. He says, nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind. Be true to yourself, and you shall have suffrage of the world. So the question is, how do you be true to yourself? How do you realize and how do you show your own mind, your own self integrity? Because there is a version of you that you right now you think you are. There is a version of you that the world has created for you. You have been molded into this particular character, into this particular shape and or form. And there's a part of you that is in disconnect with what is at the moment. What this form that has been created because of your experiences, of the stories you've told yourself, the stories other people have told you, and all of that stuff. This character that has been created is in disconnect with the true you, the you truly want to be, the one you constantly shove down and shove away, who's received all of the negative social feedback, who you've repressed and you've hidden away from, and you've essentially cast aside because he wasn't, again, accepted socially. So there are those two versions of you, and this one is much smaller. Again, we can use the analogy of the phoenix, the fact that with I think a video or two ago where I mentioned the quote by Pablo Picasso and the one by Friedrich Nietzsche. How can you wish to become anew unless you have first burned yourself into ashes, turned yourself into ashes? I forget. And then Pablo Picasso saying that any act of creation is at first an act of destruction. If you understand that there is a part of you that exists, but this character created by the world, created by society, by your family, your friends, by your teachers, by your job, by the expectations set upon you, by all things, this character is not you. You at the core, because this is your core. What this character is the layers upon layers that you have shoved onto yourself, that you have laid upon your core, so that you can hide the truth. Because this sits here. The real you exists, but you have shoved it down so far, so deep, that you yourself don't even remember what it's like. You don't even remember what you are. Socrates says, know thyself. The most difficult, this isn't Socrates, I think this was the Zen of Citium. He said the most difficult thing in the world is to know yourself. Man conquers the world by conquering himself. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdoms. That was Aristotle. There are all of these quotes on the idea of knowing yourself. And this self is the thing that you have hidden, that you have put layers upon layers, masks upon masks on, in order to protect it, or in order to, I guess the idea would have been to protect it at first, but as time goes on, you begin to resent it and you begin to hate it because everybody else hates it. And if everybody else says that, it must be true. It's crazy. If everybody else says it, it must be true. And there's this quote by Marcus Aurelius where he says the goal is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding yourself amongst the ranks of the insane. And in a way, we can clearly see and we can honestly say that the current world has gone insane. And you need to escape finding yourself in the ranks of the insane. You need to pull yourself away from that and understand what it is to truly be sane. And in this case, you being sane in comparison to those who are insane, because they are the majority, they will call you insane. Right? I hope you're following. You will stand out. And because you stand out and you stand away from the crowd, you stand outside of what it is they view as right. You're wrong. That's very important to note and to be aware of. You will be wrong. And you must understand that it's okay to be wrong. So there's a lot of good with the current society, right? There's a lot of good with the current world. And there's a lot of reason as to why this is what has developed. But it seems we have taken various things to their vulgar extent, and we have overdosed in various aspects. And as a result, even with the good structure that we have developed in order to form a society, we have slowly turned ourselves into bad eggs. We have slowly turned ourselves and sort of warped this into something that it should not have become. And now that it is that thing, there's no going back, right? There's no going back. There's no devolving. Everything evolves, it doesn't devolve. There's no devolving the society, but there is a path where you can grow yourself into something greater. I think, I forget who it was. Man conquers the world by conquering himself. And then there's another quote where, I think it was Socrates who said, what did he say? For a man to move the world, he must first move himself. Something along those lines. And it's very important to understand that quote. I hate the fact that I'm probably misquoting it, but it's very important to take note of that you move the world by first moving yourself. You can't just move the world, right? That's not how it works. Everybody tries to do that. Oh, I'm into politics. I'm this, I'm that, blah, blah, blah. Yet they have not done any work on themselves, to understand the world, to understand anything. They just randomly have this opinion and they don't even really have a source as to where that opinion comes from. So because they don't have that source, they don't have that fundamental self, right? They still have all those layers laid upon themselves. Their view is still not their own. Their thoughts are still not their own because they don't come from the source. It comes from all the layers that they've laid upon themselves as a result of the habits they developed, as a result of the society, and the world's reaction to that source. So you need to understand that there is that core part of you that you are. This is true for every human being. There's that core part of you that you are. And in order to be that, and this is the true version of yourself. And to be honest, it is great. It is amazing. The closer you get, the better you will feel. And this is what I mean by grounding your self-esteem and self-worth in reality, rooting it in reality. You find this core, and it's not like a coin that you'll find under your bed. I found the core. No, it's an arduous task to get to this thing. And in all honesty, you it's dangerous. It's a very dangerous path to walk. But if you're here, I assume you're either teasing yourself with the idea of walking that path or you're serious about it. Those are the only two. You're either teasing yourself or you're absolutely serious. And if you're absolutely serious about that, hop on a call with me. I'll actually put my Instagram link below. We can do a call on Instagram and we can talk. And then I'm gonna be developing a course. I'm gonna be making something so that we can actually tackle this head on. And because it's a dangerous path, I'm not gonna hold your hand. You're gonna have to decide to do this on your own, and I'm just gonna be there as an advisor. Well, who knows? But the point is, right, if you're actually serious about this, you will go through with it regardless of what that means. Regardless of who you lose along the way. And trust me, you will lose friends, family, people you used to love along the way. You will lose people along the way, and that's part of it because as you lose those people, you understand that you're losing the characteristics and the personalities and the masks. You're ridding yourself of all of this junk that you've put upon the source. There's a very beautiful way in which Alan Watts describes this. But that source, there's all of this junk, all of these layers on it, and it's like you're slowly peeling away like an onion. Like it's an onion. You slowly remove the layers and you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and you find that the more you look, like as you peel away the onion, it's just it I don't know. It's different. It's not what you used to be. And there is a great sense of loss and a sense of going through a tragic experience, a tragic moment that you will feel. And that's how it is, that's how it has to be. Because if you don't do that, then you're not walking the right path. So that particular point, that particular source, it's so far away, it's so hidden that it becomes an entire journey to get to it. And in all honesty, you may never get there. But moving along that in that direction is so much better than anything else you'd ever do. It's so much better than living this fake life that has been created for you. It is so much better than not being yourself. It is so much better than being a base imitator of someone else and not being your best self, your only self, not being you. So, again, my Instagram link is in the description below. We can hop on a call. That's it. I'll see you in the next one.